All right. Hey, everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit today about some of the handheld game devices that I've collected in my lifetime. The reason this kind of came to mind for me this week is I realized that I have a lot of the old devices that I kind of grew up with, and I don't ever really touch them, right? So, I had this conversation with myself about, why do we keep things that we don't need just because they were once very important to us. I'm gonna kind of walk through how game devices and handheld game devices in particular have shaped my life, as I'm sure they have for a lot of people, in my generation. And I'll start from the beginning here with this, a Game Boy Color. Take a look here. It's in the teal color. This is the first game device I ever got. I think probably about 4 years old, and my family had just moved to a new country, a country that I ended up growing up in and spending the majority of my life in Indonesia. And this was like the first thing that my mom and dad got me when we fully moved in. And in a lot of ways, it was like the most important toy of, ages like 4 through 6 for me. Yeah, I played this so much. Lots of different games, mainly Pokemon. See, I've got Pokemon Gold in here right now. This might turn on. I think these batteries are new. So yeah, it still works, which is cool. Save file's completely shot. Probably needs a new battery in the cartridge, but yeah, funny story with this one. So I used to walk around and play this, head down. And one day I was walking around a pool, just doing laps on the edge of the pool, and I fell in with this as I was playing. I was just so engrossed in whatever game that I was playing that I didn't even realize I was stepping into the water. So yeah, it was like something out of a sitcom. Had to get taken out of the pool by my family because I didn't know how to swim. And surprisingly, we opened this up and dried it out, and it still works to this day despite lots of chlorinated water that surely seeped in through all the electronics. So yeah, a lot of fond memories with this. It was like the only handheld that I had for the longest time. As I got into 4th and 5th grade, my parents got me a Game Boy Advance, which I don't have with me now. It's one device that I don't have on me. Played that one a lot all through middle school, and ended up sometime in middle school, I don't know exactly, getting this, which is a PlayStation Portable. So PSP, this is the launch model, so it's thicker than some of the other ones that you may see. Didn't end up actually playing this very much when I first had gotten it. The weird thing about this is it came out with no games. It was not fun at all. And it was my brother at the time also got a new game device, but he chose to get a Nintendo DS. And I wanted to be cool and different, so I got this, but ended up being super jealous because he was playing all these fun Nintendo games, and I think I had 2 games on this that I didn't even end up playing all that much. But the funny thing is, later on in middle school, this ended up becoming the first device that I actually went ahead and modded. A store where we grew up where they would actually install the custom firmware for you, and you could buy a bunch of games loaded up onto the SD card. And it was only then, which was probably a year or 2 after I bought the device, that we ended up being able to play fun games. So yeah, I don't know, this is a beautiful device. I just had my brother pick it up for me from our parents' place because I was feeling nostalgic, and what I realized when I got it is that I'm not going to play this thing, which is kind of sad because, number one, I've had a lot of good memories with this. there are a ton of games that I didn't even get to play, and I'm sure that if I wanted to go find them right now and get them installed or even buying them secondhand, like, it would be a lot of fun, right? But I don't know. Part of this like whole exercise of going through these with myself is understanding that it's never going to be as fun as it was when you were a kid, right? And I think that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But trying to chase like a comfortable feeling or a feeling that you remember having is seldom gonna work out. And you'll see what I mean, because the next one I want to talk about here is this Nintendo 3DS. So I played the PSP a lot all through like high school. And again, like in high school, you know, you don't really have time to play all these games, so I'd like kind of go in and out with it. But it was fun to have music on here. It was fun to have movies on here. And like playing around with like a modded PSP and installing different apps and different, like I even got PlayStation 1 games on here at one point, was a lot of fun growing up. But going into college, I didn't have any of this stuff with me. Like, I went to school without bringing any of these games because, you know, at that point I'd kind of grown out of a lot of the video games and I hadn't played in a long while, just because you don't have time, you have other things to do, right? And this was like Black Friday, I want to say like 2014 or 2015, where they came out with this model. And it was super cheap. So it was like $100 at Walmart, I believe, when I got this for Black Friday. And going back to what I was saying about not being able to play all the fun DS games and being super jealous of my brother and then some of my friends who were playing DS games, I bought this because I was thinking, well, I'll get to play all those DS games I never got a chance to, right? And again, what's funny, I played some of my brother's old games on this, like I think one summer. But after a while, like, this didn't really go touched. I don't play it today. I keep it with me. It's like in my apartment, and it's in a drawer that never gets opened. Turn it on. You can see it's like, it works. It's a fun little device. Got some different things installed on it. Yeah, so I bought this in college, and between studying and hanging out with friends and doing other things, as one does, I didn't end up playing this all that much, which is a shame. And to be honest, I don't know why I still have it. So, I don't know. It kind of makes me sad that like I have all these things that growing up I really enjoyed, but now I don't even think about it or give a second's thought. I think like what I'm trying to do with these videos, with like just everything in my day-to-day life, is just do more things that matter to me, do more things that I want to do more things that I find bring me happiness, right? So I have all these objects that like have really give me fond memories, right? I loved them as a child. I loved them growing up. And for that reason, I'm like sentimental and I hold on to them, but I don't need them. I don't play with them. So I'm just trying to like reconcile, right? Like, this is something that I used to have a lot of fun with. This is something that made me really happy. Now, I know I'm not going to be able to play some of the stuff that I wanted to play. I know that I'm not going to have as much fun as I did when I was a kid. So when I like hold these things, I have to think like, why do I have this, right? What is the point of keeping something like this? Is it just sentimentality? Is it just like, this was my childhood toy and I'm keeping it? Am I gonna pass this down or hand this down one day in my life to like a child, like either mine or like someone else? You know, it's like the scene from Toy Story 3 where like Andy gives all his toys away to the little girl and like realizes that you don't need the things that you like keep or cherish, and in many ways they may be better off in the hands of someone who can enjoy them, right? And it's weird to think because, like, I don't know if my kids will even want these things, right? Will they understand what the impact that this had on me, will it have on someone 20 years from now, 10 years from now? Who knows, right? After I bought the 3DS in college, the only other handheld that really consumed a lot of my time from that point was this Nintendo Switch, right? So, during the pandemic, played a lot of games on this, had a lot of time to play games on this. I think a lot of people have one. They're a lot of fun. Not much to say about it. I kind of use it like a tablet. Like, I've got different apps. It's like for party games and stuff. Like, you got Jackbox, Smash. You can watch things like Hulu. So it's a nice, like, multi-purpose entertainment machine, right? But again, this doesn't, like, capture any of the joy that I had as a kid when it comes to playing games. And it's very much now like a device for adults in my mind. Like, I don't see this as like a kid's device to me, which is funny. The last thing that I have here is this Ambernick, which again, like, I guess I'll go through spats where I feel like really nostalgic, and I really want to do something that I used to do, because to me, I'm thinking, this used to make you really happy, and maybe you can capture some of that magic by playing it again, or listening to a song that you used to listen to, or watching a movie that you really liked as a kid, right? But what ends up happening is, like, when you peel back and you actually sit down and play a game, it doesn't look as good as it used to. It doesn't sound as good as it used to. You're not in love the way that you remember you were. A lot of the trouble that I have when it comes to nostalgia is recognizing that in a lot of ways it's a trap, right? Like, you're always going to remember the good times. You're never going to remember the bad. And you're always going to associate certain objects, certain moments, certain cultural ideals, right, with, like, that moment in time in your life. And you can't ever go back, right? There's no way that you can truly be a kid again, truly live those experiences again as they were in the moment. But at the same time, it's like, if you're having fun, then have the fun, right? As long as you're going into it recognizing that, hey, this is not something that's gonna make me feel the way that I did back then. One of the things that really irritates me about, like, modern living and the internet and having everything so accessible in different communities and, like, niches of people that are all into the same thing is how we've created this, like, culture of almost nostalgia bait, right? Like, you can go to a subreddit for Game Boy or a subreddit for PSP. You can watch videos on, like, YouTube on this site, right, of people just buying up their childhood devices or things that they couldn't have as a kid in an effort to buy back their childhood. And I don't know, it just, like, to me, I think you are more than welcome to enjoy the things that you enjoy and celebrate the things that you celebrate. But I don't like this, like, community, like, influencer kind of pressure of, like, buy the 3DS because it's the best console and you can mod it. You can, like, put all these different things on it. You can play all these retro games, right? Like that. I don't know. Like, I've found when I fall into that kind of trap, what I've found is when I, like, think about that path or putting myself down that path. And again, this is just for me. Like, it ends up about being, like, collecting things that you don't need, right? So at this point where I'm left is, like, I have all this, like, outdated technology that just kind of takes up space in my apartment. And I don't know what to do with it. And I don't know if I want to keep it. what I do know is I'm never going to play some of these again, right? Like the Game Boy Color, it sucks. Like, look at that. You can't even see what's going on. This hurts my eyes to play, okay? And I think I have to realize now that this is no longer what it was designed to be. It's no longer a toy. It's no longer an entertainment device. To me, this is just like a memento of the past. And that's okay. That's totally fine. I'm going to leave it as that. When I was growing up, my uncle, he gave me a tin car. It was one of those like wind-up cars that you like put a key in, you give it a few winds, and then it like goes, right? And he told me it was something that my grandpa got him. To him, this was like a really, really special new thing, right? And he kept it all these years. Like, he always had it. And when he gave it to me when I was like 12, 13 years old, I didn't see it as a toy either. Like, it felt like a glimpse into the childhood of my uncle, and in a way the childhood of my dad, right? And it made me realize that, like, he, just like me, feels the need to care for and cherish and pass on those memories to the next generation. Yeah, and I'm going to do the same. Like, I'm going to hold on to these with full understanding that they're not what they were to me when I was a kid. Now they are a reminder of that moment in time, as there will be many other reminders of other moments in time, other moments in my life that I will cherish and look back on 10, 20, 30 years from now, right? Like, there are pieces of my day-to-day life here today that may become heirlooms, may become things that matter to me because they remind me of today. So, I guess in a lot of ways, like, nostalgia is cool because it allows you to transport yourself to a moment in time that will never return. So long as you recognize that, like, it will never return, right? And if you want to feel good and you want to feel happy, like, recognize that the moments that you're experiencing today, they will be happy memories and moments that you will want and seek later down the road. So cherish them now while you can, right? At least that's what I'm going to be trying to do. I hope it was cool to see some of these things. Thank you to everyone who's been commenting. It really means a lot to me. Like, it's been like a month now on YouTube, and I didn't expect this level of response at all from folks. I hope that everyone is doing what they want to be doing out there. Thanks. Bye.